Dear students, welcome to another class of biology. In the previous class, we have discussed about stimulus and response. And we have already told that these stimulus and response are controlled by an organ system in our body called it as nervous system. So, the human nervous system control and coordinate all the activities that take place in our body. Okay? See, this is a picture taken from your textbook. From this picture, we can clearly understood that human nervous system has three main parts. First one is brain, then spinal cord, and nerves. Brain is the controlling center, and spinal cord is the continuation of brain. Nerves are of two kinds, cranial nerves and spinal nerves. All the parts of nervous system, that means brain, spinal cord, and nerves, are made of specialized cells called nerve cell or neuron. So next we have to study the structure of a neuron. This picture is also taken from your textbook. When we clearly observe this picture, we can understood that a nerve cell is entirely different from a normal cell. So let us study about each part of a neuron. Mainly, it has a cell body, or otherwise called it as cytone. The cell body contains the normal cell organelles, including nucleus. From the cell body, there arise certain branches, and the minute branches are called dendrites. These dendrites are the part which receive impulses from adjacent neuron. The next part is dendron, which are the short filaments from the cell body, which carries impulses from dendrites to the cell body. Then you can see a long filament originate from the cell body. That long filament is called axon. This axon carries impulses from the cell body to outside. Axon ends in certain branches. These branches of axon are called axonite, which carries impulses to the synaptic knob. Synaptic knob are the tip of axonite. It secretes neurotransmitters. The longest filament axon is covered by particular cells called Schwann cells. The Schwann cells repeatedly encircles the axon and form a covering called it as myelin sheath. So it has so many functions. The myelin sheath gives protection to axon. It also gives nutrients to the axon. It acts as an electric insulator, and also it helps to accelerate the speed of impulses passing through the axon. The following animation video will help you to understand the structure of neuron so clearly. So this picture, that is the structure of neuron, is very important for your exam. Okay?
Structure of neuron. Objective: to learn the structure of a neuron. We tend to think of the nervous system primarily as having to do with stimuli response, but it also works to control and coordinate the functions of the body. The nervous system is composed of billions of cells known as neurons. These tiny cells carry the messages of the body in the form of electrical signals known as impulses. Typically, there are 4 parts in neuron: the cell body, the dendrites, an axon, and the axon terminals. The enlarged part of the neuron is the cell body, sometimes referred to as the soma. This is where both the cytoplasm and the nucleus can be found, and the metabolic activity will occur here. Extending from the cell body are several short, branched extensions known as dendrites. These receive the neural impulses from receptors or from adjoining neurons, which allows them to communicate with nearby cells. It is only dendrites which carry impulses toward the cell body. Each neuron has one long, thicker extension known as the axon extending from the cell body. Axons carry the impulses away from the cell body and to the dendrites of other neurons. A fatty white coat known as a myelin sheath usually covers longer axons. The sheath serves to insulate the axon. However, it is not continuous along its length. There are many gaps known as the nodes of Ranvier. These gaps allow electrical impulses to jump from one node to the next, thus increasing the speed of its transmission. Axons end in short branches with swollen tips known as axon terminals or terminal buttons. At the tip of the axon terminals are synaptic vesicles which help to transmit impulses between axon terminals and dendrites along a tiny gap known as the synapse. Together, axons and dendrites form bundles of nerve fibers commonly referred to as nerves. Clusters of nerves are known as ganglia. Summary. A neuron is the functional unit of the nervous system. Neurons are composed of a cell body, several dendrites, and a long axon. Axons end in axon terminals, which is where the impulse is transmitted to the dendrite of another neuron.